Assalamu alaikum. This is Manzoor Pare. I hope you are all doing well. Today we are in conversation with ABRAR Ali. Might be aware of the fact that recently the civil services JKAS civil service results have come out, and ABRAR Ali has found himself in the list. So since he belongs to Sonawari, he's among very few people in the area who has been able to qualify these exams. So we would like to have a conversation with him. Abrar, welcome to the conversation.
Thank you, sir, for having me.
Abrar, so basically, our conversations goes to the students, and they would like to know. For example, tell us about how did this thought come into your mind that I want to go into the civil services.
As I have said in many interviews of mine, that the journey began with some person who is now a very famous person by the name of Shah Faisal, who once topped the civil services examination. So I came to know that there is something called UPSC, which conducts examination at a very high level. So I had this dream that if a guy who was an orphan can qualify this examination and leave his job, at that time I believe he was a doctor. So if he can belong into that kind of family, why can't I, when I have multiple resources available with me, especially in parental support? So if a guy can from Kupwara can do it, why can't I? So the journey had a humble beginning. So I had a dream from there onwards, but formal beginning happened after 2018, after my graduation completed. So then formal preparation started for the exam.
Okay. So where from you did your schooling? Can you know that?
Okay, sir. So my basic schooling from first standard up to 8th standard happened from a local private school by the name of Public Middle School, which is located in the Slipora village here nearby. Followed by my education started from 9th to 12th. It happened in very famous school of our area by the name of New Greenland Senior Secondary Educational Institute. Then I went on to pursue BSc from Government Degree College Symbol, which was a very brave decision considering the fact that it was only the second batch of science stream that was happening in the college. And after my completion of my graduation, I started preparing for the exam in a very formal.
So you had started very early. I believe you start thinking about going into the services very early. In fact, while doing BSc, you must have thought on it. Okay, tell us about what were the strategies you have put in for this, because I believe since you are very young and you have been able to qualify it in the very first attempt, if I believe. So, how you prepared for it? What were the strategies you put in?
So strategy would be very simple. You have to do some basic books like the NCRTs, which are being taught in various schools from 6th to 12th standard for geography and history portion, which forms bulk of the syllabus. For other subjects, you have certain specific reference books. For example, for Indian polity, you have to read a book which is written by the famous author M. Lakshmikant. For history, there are various books, for example, by Mr. Bipin Chandra or the Spectrum. Either of the books suffices for current affairs. You can have either of the newspapers of either the Hindu or the Indian Express, and you can have various magazines to do revisions for the same purpose. So there are various resources by which we can pursue the examination. However, I believe that the resources of a person should be kept to bare minimum and focus should be laid on the revision. And I will again quote the famous statement which was once told to us in a coaching institute by the IS officer by the name of Bilal Muhyiddin, who is currently a DC of some district, I can't remember. So he had told that if you want to pursue civil service examination, you have to become deputy collector of the district, not the book collector. So don't go after collecting books, rather focus on revising things and remembering things and interpretation part of the things.
Okay. So you have been telling us that you have attended certain coaching classes.
Yes.
May I know how much coaching is important for a civil servant to qualify any competitive exam?
Actually, when I started preparing for the examination, so I had very limited knowledge of the examination, the pattern of the examination, how many papers we had to do, and all that. So I had necessary to do the coaching. But given the resource potential that now is with us in the form of internet, I believe the internet can serve as a good medium for the students who cannot go to the formal coaching or Delhi or Srinagar. Internet can be a very good resource for them to learn and qualify the exam as well.
Okay. So coming after doing your coaching, I believe it was for a small period of time, for 7-8 months. Then was there a sort of different strategy to interviews? how do you actually prepare for interviews?
So I believe that there is this thing with the Kashmiri people who only see the interview part of the thing as most important part of the exam. Interview tests your personality as a whole, but there are two stages precede the interview phase: prelims and mains. So we have to focus on the exam as a whole rather than seeing only interview. Some people see interview and write in comments that this guy will become an officer, this guy will not become, this guy talks fluently, this guy can't talk English. So interview is just part of the examination. It's a three-tier examination pattern. There's prelims, there's mains, there's interview. For interview specifically, I attended some sessions at the ICP Rajbagh or the Contestants. I had mocks there, and also in the exceptional areas. I attended certain mock interviews there. You will see YouTube videos on that very soon. I believe they will upload that. So those sessions help you in knowing your weaknesses, strengths. For example, I came to know that I have very limited knowledge of the Gurez area that comes in Bandipora. So I tried to improve that on that area. And thankfully, one question was also asked me in the real interview about that area.
From Gurez area.
Yes, sir.
So could you share some of the questions which were asked in this interview? For example, what was the Gurez question actually?
Sir, it was actually about the Kishanganga River, where from it flows, and also the Kishanganga Hydro Power Project, and also there was a question about Wular Lake. And also, first question that was asked to me when I introduced myself was, why is your area called Sonawari? What is the reason behind it? And after that, there was one important question which was considered a very important question for me. I was asked to name the country which does not have a written constitution, and the panel member subsequently asked, so how does the country function? For example, in India we have a written constitution, so it sets certain limits on the government. So he asked me, how does UK function? I mentioned UK or Britain does not have a written constitution, so he asked me, how does the country function? So after that, there was one situational question about the relationship between SDM and DM, and other questions in the interview were specific to my subject, optional subject, public administration. So there were a lot of questions from that subject.
So I'll ask you a last question. Since you were mentioning that the pub ed was my optional subject, since I believe you were a base science student, why did you choose pub ed rather than any science subject?
So there is a story behind that. Actually, my graduation, it took 4 years due to introduction of the semester system and unfamiliarity with that system. So and also the situation in the valley was not feasible at the time. There were a lot of happenings that were occurring. So I wasn't completely sure, and I also thought of choosing zoology as one of the optional. But seeing the success rate of the zoology at the UPSC, which was my primary goal, I thought to choose some of the subjects which had a variety of material available with them, and subject from a lot of people had qualified. So there were some subjects which I could have chosen, like public administration was one of them. There was anthropology, there was political science and international relations. Sorry. So when I saw through the syllabus, so I found I could do well in public administration, and I zeroed in on the subject, and then I pursued some masters also in the subject, followed by NET. I also qualified NET in the subject. Then this year I also qualified the exam.
Last question, for those people who have not been able to make it this time, or who are just started preparing for this exam, what would be your message to those people?
For people who missed very closely, I have some friends who missed even after appearing in the interview. There were some really good candidates, and I also believe that mains examination, score of the mains examination plays a big part in your success rate in this examination, because more than around 2,000 marks are allotted to the mains examination, and that becomes a game-changing aspect in itself. Whereas the interview part constitutes only 250 marks. So I believe the main focus should be on the mains part, and you get around 1 month or 1.5 months to prepare for the interview. So rather than seeing exam in silos, I believe I think it should be taken in continuity. The whole exam process should be taken in continuity. For aspirants who are just starting, I believe I will repeat the same words, that keep your resources to the minimum and focus on the revisions. And I believe that very few people qualify the examination first attempt. So people who are serious about the examination, it may take a while, but ultimately it will happen. But it depends all on your hard work.
Thank you, Abrar. So thank you, Abrar Ali, so much. We wish you all the best. May you have a great life ahead, and we hope and pray that you will continue to qualify more exams, and you'll be. I hope you'll be preparing for IAS also. All the best for it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.